Hi, this is Kandice Garcia, Quality Manager in the Department of Radiology at Stanford University, and this is the Radiology Improvement Team Education Program. Today's discussion is on moving forward without meetings. Congratulations! You have been chosen to be part of a quality improvement project team. You have been given the power to change the way we work and to find the best way to solve the problem. However, with great power comes great responsibility. You will have the power to make changes, but it will be your responsibility to make sure that those changes result in actual improvements. It's an enlightening, labor-intensive process that requires a personal commitment from everyone involved. Everything that you will be asked to do will take time and effort, which may be different from the way that you're used to working. As we work to collaborate with each other in different departments, a common barrier to effective project completion is time. Specifically, finding time where we're all free to meet on a regular basis. What we have found is that this time to meet as a group can be so limited that it may postpone important project steps or stall a project altogether. So instead of accepting that 2 weeks is a reasonable time frame to postpone the next project steps, we're going to discuss dynamics, tricks, and tips for moving forward without meetings. What we want to make clear is that even though we want you to move forward without meetings, that does not mean that group meetings do not have their place. We just don't want entire group meetings to be the primary source of communication for your team. So, to aid in your team using its time wisely, we're going to give you a few questions you can ask yourself to decide, do we need a group meeting? First, we want to ask, are we all on the same page? There will be a few points during the process where this will be the primary focus of your interaction, and there will be great benefit from getting the whole team together to discuss. For example, a kickoff meeting. This is something that you do right at the beginning of the project, and here are a few things that you want to discuss. First off, team direction. What do we want to accomplish? What are we going to focus on? And basically filling out the left side of the A3. So our problem, our background, how we're going to measure success, maybe even analyzing the problem and getting some key drivers. The second thing we want to discuss is expectations. Each person will be responsible for different parts of the project, and it's important to establish what those dynamics are up front. This includes not only the roles of the project and the individuals, but the time commitments involved as well. The third thing, you want to know your role. For every project, you may have a different role, and each member of the team will have specific responsibilities and expectations. So it's important to understand how we best will work together and support one another to reach our ultimate goal. And the last one is communication. For every project, you may have different forms of communication that may be more effective. So you want to discuss format, frequency, and content so everybody has a clear expectation of how they can get their message across and get the information that they need. Other times in the project where group meetings could be of benefit are when we are thinking about shifting direction or focus if a group discussion is needed. It is important that these meetings have structure and a deliberate purpose, since getting together can be such a challenge. So, number one thing, do your homework. Make sure you touch base with team members prior to the meeting. This could help shape your agenda to include the most pressing issues for discussion. The second thing is set up the agenda. These are topics that require group discussion or decisions, and updates that may be important to all group members. The third thing is you want to create a timeline and stick to it. Give each topic enough time to be discussed, but ensure that all important items are covered. Fourth, you want to review past assignments. This allows people time to give updates and present barriers as needed. This is one of the most important parts of the meeting. This gives us a time and a place to hold each other accountable for the things that we are assigned to do. Number 5, we want to do some group decision making. This ensures that if a group decision needs to be made, that we actually make it. All too often we spend sacred meeting time discussing an issue and leave without having come to an agreement about it. And the last part of the meeting, we want to make sure that we continue to delegate actionable items with timeliness for completion. By structuring meetings in this way, we're able to get the most out of our time together and actively move the projects to the next step. So, another question we want to ask on do we need a meeting is, do we need to discuss and collaborate or delegate and calendar? It is a common misconception that we need a meeting to delegate and calendar assignments. It's a much better use of our time to divide and conquer, because not every team member needs to be involved in every aspect of the project. What the team leader might do is assign one key driver or a series of tests to 2 or 3 team members and say, okay, it's your job to figure it out, test it, and come back in 2 weeks with your findings and recommendations. Then, those 2 or 3 individuals can dive deep into that part of the project and come up with solutions. This is a mini project, and the team leader is now the mini sponsor. He or she should now touch base frequently with those team members to make sure they're coming along, and we will be ready to present when they have all the information. Then, we always want to follow up with and give these team members a chance to present to the rest of the team. Next question we want to ask ourselves is this meeting our most valuable activity? Time will be limited for all of your team members, so it is critical to prioritize your team's activities. Improvement work is more than just getting on the same page. It's actually testing and refining the ideas that you have, and that's where most of your energy should be spent. So before the team leader schedules a meeting, ask, would my time be spent better on the other elements of improvement? Would it be more valuable to be observing the current process, testing an intervention, collecting feedback on implementation, or something else along those lines? If the answer is yes to any of these questions, do not schedule a meeting. The next question we want to ask ourselves is, do we have all the information we need for this meeting? How many times have you shown up to a meeting where there's no set agenda? People are not informed of what decisions need to be made, or have not brought the information necessary to make the decisions. Without proper preparation, these group gatherings can be a total waste of time. So before you schedule a meeting, make sure that you let everybody know what you're going to be discussing, and then give them a chance to comment offline prior to the meeting. The second is we want all pertinent agenda items to be listed. Third, everyone who is scheduled to give an update is prepared with important information. And 4, all the information needed to make a decision is presented. It's important for the team leader to evaluate if we have all the information we need, and if not, decide whether or not we should even have the meeting at all. Now, the last question we want to ask is, can we talk about what we need to talk about without a meeting? So now that we have decided that a meeting is not going to be the best use of our time, but there is still communication that needs to occur, we need to ask ourselves, how can we communicate without having a meeting? First, we want to talk about, what do we want to talk about? Things that don't need to be discussed in meetings could be intervention updates, needs for integration of other project aspects, or barriers to progress. Some common examples of questions you could inquire from each other are just, how are things going? What have we learned since we talked last time? What are we working on next? And what do we need to do to make this project move forward? Now, the next question is where? Where do we have these conversations? Well, it can be as simple as a chance encounter in the hallway. How is it going? Or you can attend a huddle within the department or during a testing phase. Asking these questions and inquiring at these more casual sites can actually give you more information than what if you actually set time aside for a meeting. And the third one is one-on-one conversations. You may decide that a weekly update or a regular update of a specific topic or idea is going to be of the most benefit. It's always easier for 2 people to get together than it is the entire group. And don't forget that there's more than just one-on-one or in-person interactions. We can use telephone, email, and text. It's up to the group to decide how they want to best communicate the information that they have and what they're going to say. Now, a standard process for communication is important, but there are underlying interpersonal elements that are fundamental to a group of people working together successfully. One of them is trust. Trust that all team members are capable and willing to do the things that we're asking them to do. On a new team, this may be difficult to identify. So, as a team leader, know that trust can be fostered with frequent and effective communication. The next one is respect. We need to respect roles and responsibilities and how each member of the team contributes in different, equally important ways. And don't forget, respect is a 2-way street. If you do not give respect, you cannot expect it in return. And the third one is humility. Each team member must be able to accept feedback from others and reflect upon their own actions to understand how they can improve to best benefit the project. All 3 of these elements are byproducts of good people working together towards a common goal. So let's recap. What have we discussed today? Well, first, if you're on a QI team, expect to work, which may be in a different way than you're used to. As we discussed, meetings will occur formally and informally throughout the life of the project, and it will take constant effort to keep these projects moving forward. You want to plan to spend at least a few hours a week doing your part as a team member. If you won't be willing or able to spend the time, you may want to reconsider whether you want to be on a team. Number 2, real QI does not happen in the conference rooms. It happens where the work happens. If you are spending more than about 20% of your time meeting in conference rooms, you're doing it wrong. Test, measure, refine in the workplace. That's QI. Third, we want to evaluate our need for a meeting. Here is a handy checklist you may want to refer to before you schedule your next team meeting. Ask yourself, are we all on the same page? Do we need to discuss and collaborate or delegate and calendar? Is this meeting our most valuable activity? Do we have all the information we need for the meeting? And lastly, how can we talk about this without having a meeting? And number 4, it is a privilege to be selected to be on a QI team. The effort and focus it takes to solve problems is challenging and sometimes without glory. It is easy to lose focus as we come across unforeseen barriers and new challenges along the way. But remember, quality improvement is a process that, if you let it, will transform the people as much as the work itself. Thank you for watching. I'm Kandice Garcia, and this is the Radiology Improvement Team Education course at Stanford University.